Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld. And the end of the week is here, so it's time that we talk about some manga chapters. And we'll start this week off with child neglect. Which, now that I think about it, I pretty much put child neglect and child abuse as the first two series in my list of chapters to discuss. Considering I'm starting off with Shadow House and Shy. Although, thankfully, we only have Shy here, so we don't have to go on child abuse with Charles this week. Good for us. But anyways, we'll start with Shy chapter 129, titled Mother. Kinda odd chapter title, considering what the latest Ross chapter of Shy has with Spirit, but whatever, oddly fitting chapter titles for both English and Japanese are their own thing. But anyways, we start this chapter off by us getting more of an explanation on Pilse's mother, and we find out that she has a very negative kind of perspective where she's like, those who cannot help should not even be kind of around, should not even be alive. So yeah, she is very toxic because to her you have to help. You kind of you need to you have to be a nurse and you have to work 24/7. So yeah, I imagine that some of the reasons why she and Pelse do not have more interaction, or her and father don't have much interaction, is mostly because of her own kind of obsession with working and helping and everyone. But still, I kind of do have to wonder where that mindset comes from, but wait a minute, I want to say this is a Japanese family thing, but Pilse and her family are from Sweden, so I don't really know why she has this kind of mindset. But anyways, and as you might have imagined, this kind of mindset where you have to help people's medical and all that stuff, has led Pilse to be mostly lonely since she's alone with her maid in their house. I mean, it's a nice house and everything. There's nothing really wrong with it, but you kind of want to be with your parents, especially when you're really young, at least a little bit. So yeah, Bill says feeling a bit lonely, and the maid does try to comfort Pilse, since to Pilse she probably felt that her mother hates her and all that, which is definitely true, because how what attitude she had towards her, and expecting her to be I don't know what. Like, it's weird whenever parents say, "Oh, your the brother, your older cousin, or whatever is already this," when you yourself are like a fracture of that age. Like, I mean, yeah, my older brother is, or my cousin is a super successful doctor, but he's also 23, or actually, I think her cousin is no brother, whatever, is only in is only in school. But yes, my cousin is in medical college. It's one of the best students there. Well, I'm only 8 years old, woman. I am not. I can't go to college yet, regardless of how successful I'm in middle school. But regardless, maid is trying to comfort her until someone not comes ringing, and then they're like, "Who it is?" As they go to greet this person, or check to see who it is, since they didn't expect. I imagine that Pilse's parents always give call ahead of time to tell them when they're gonna come. If I could even discuss this a bit before, how Pilse asks her when father is coming home next time, and then maybe brings up you never ask for mother. So, but regardless, the maid goes to answer the door. She's scared. She gets scared and screams. So Pilse comes to look what it is, and we find out it's actually the previous Sweden hero, which her name is Hixen 104 YQ. Not sure about 104 and YQ, if that's supposed to be a. Honestly, she looks like. Okay, Hexen looks like is a very old witch by appearance, all things considered, so 104 might be her age, but from what I can tell, it's more supposed to be her full hero name, so I have no idea where 104 you crew it came from. It was probably magical something. on that level, but we don't really know what exactly it is. But regardless, she's there and she scared the maid to unconscious state. And then Pilse is questioning why she's here, why is the Sweden hero here, and then Exen explains that her parents wanted her in a project or an organization that her parents are making. They wanted the Sweden hero to sign on it, and there's probably some kind of medical history with Hexen that I don't think that's fully explained here. And she, which is kind of funny to think the fact that Hexen and the German hero are both like medical professionals, yet they are both yet right now there's only Lady Black. Maybe a German hero is still looking for a successor, so that's the reason why there's not. But in the next one was going to be a medical individual as well. I mean, it does seem like the Sweden hero was kind of a legacy about them being medical professionals based on Hexen and the fact that Pilse's mother wants to be the Sweden hero, and Pilse also is a Sweden hero, but she's into medicine, all that stuff. But yeah. Anyways, Hexen explains to them since they're wondering why she's there, and that she explains to them that she was supposed to sign it, and it seems like she kind of misunderstood where she was supposed to meet them because she like read the no, but oh yeah, it says the Central Hospital, not her place, huh? I guess I'm getting old. I guess I'm starting to have bad sign my old age. So they're kind of so yeah, it was a bit of a misunderstanding. Although I question it was a misunderstanding since the way how Ixen talks, it kind of makes it imply that she wanted to help Pilse's family out with their little, awful living style. But anyways, Hexen then asks Pilse if she would want to come with her to her parents' place, since both of them are there. And since at first is like, no, I don't want to go into that central hospital, but as you might imagine, Pilse is like an 8-year-old girl, so it will not be hard for Hexen to convince her into going to the hospital as hospital when she's traveling there. So, like, it's kind of like one of those classic comedy moments where you have, like, I'm saying, no, I will not do this! Yet they immediately do it in the next panel. So, Pilse is there, so is in the hospital, and she's, like, kind of being very excited and kind of doing her little, like, where is Father Dance? Where is Father Dance? Kind of shtick there, and Hexen finds her kind of a goofball. I like her as then, Pilse's mother comes and she's like pissed off that she's here and like, what the hell are you doing here? Why are you being used? Why are you being a bother? As Hexen like puts her witch hat over Pilse's mother, and she's like, oh, quit your nonsense. I just brought her along. I forgot where I was because I couldn't see what the place you told me to come and sign on. As I think Pilse's mother is Fiora or something like that, but regardless, Pilse's mother tells her if she's too old to be a hero at this point, then maybe she then give her the bracelet. I would definitely use it more than you do. And Hexen basically tells her, no, you would be awful. That would be an awful idea. Like, I may be looking for a successor right now, but you are definitely not the one. You just end up making a World War nurse if anything else, which is probably true. Like, I also imagine that consider what we see in this chat pretty soon. I doubt that Mrs. Mom would last very long as a nurse hero. Hexen leaves as then Bill's mom wants to scold her again, but then she, I think, finally succumbs to the overwork that she's put on her body. Because remember, like, Bill's mother, the way it's staying in this chapter makes it sound like one of those, like, when did you even have a time for a child exactly? Because Bill's mother was like, said that like whenever she does have a day off or break, she's like looking at papers and still like, work. Basically, she's working at home whenever she's on break. To a point that even the head doctor or whatever his was able to like tell Oh yeah, I am certain you're not taking a break when you're home on a break. I'm certain you're probably going through papers like crazy. So yeah, as you can imagine, someone with that kind of lifestyle is not gonna be able to, handle the exhaustion that long, and she faints, faints and falls unconscious, and is taken to a medical room to rest a little bit. As she, I'm assuming, in an hour or two recovers. As she then gets scolded by the head doctor for overworking and saying that I knew it was only a matter of time before this happened. Your mindset is extremely toxic. You're a good nurse, but that mindset you have is insane and is completely counter to what we are supposed to achieve here. I'm giving you a full month to take a break. Even you cannot possibly look at work if you have a break for a full month. So yeah, I mean he doesn't. I don't think he threatens to fire her, or at least that's not what the translation seems to imply. But yeah, Bill's mother is going to have to take a break, and right now they're sort of just letting her sleep in one of those patients' rooms, probably until like she goes home with her husband, or maybe she's also gonna be giving her husband a break because I mean it's okay. To be fair, Bill's father does at least seem to like consider breaks, or at least like goes out. Like yeah, I question hikes as in are those really the activities you want to do with your daughter you barely get to see all the time? But at least the guy takes breaks. He at least does activities to help him relax, help him to regain his spirit and energy. The mama doesn't even do that much. So anyway, she's currently staying there with Bill say Bill says still being there because she can't get home, which is even a little joke with Bill says mom telling her when Bill says bring her soup or something. Why are you still here? You should be getting home right now. And Bill says like, what kind of daughter would leave her mother there when she's in this kind of situation? And thinks of and the fact that without Hexen, I can't even get home, so I'm kind of stuck here until you guys take me home. Even though she doesn't point that out, which kind of again shows how toxic Bill's mom's mindset is. But anyways, as she's like sitting there laying, she's kind of overhearing what the other nurses are saying, and all of them kind of expected this to at some point happen. Like, oh, it was only a matter of time before she passed out because of exhaustion. Oh, I hope she's gonna stop treating us with her standard because she's probably been screaming at everyone as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Bill's mother, whenever she caught the other nurses like having a coffee break and chit chatting, be like how they should go to work even though they literally just started their break period. So, anyways, and while Pilse's mother uh, mm, uh, Pilse's mother is laying there, and Pilse brings her some soup to eat because she probably hasn't eaten much in a while. Pilse's mom asks her why is she nice to her since you would hate a mother like her because I guess even she has to acknowledge it, constantly screaming, constantly berating an 8-year-old over stuff that she has no control of, regardless of how much she wants to help people. It's kind of ridiculous. But Pilser just tells her that she's a daughter, she should do stuff like this. Anyways, it's the bare minimum she can do. And we also have like a little bit of an inner monologue during this chapter from Pilser's perspective, like how she's scared of her mother, but at the end of the day, it's not like she hates her mother. She's just scared. So yeah, they have a little bit of a talking, and it does seem like Pilser's mother at least is not like kind of relaxing. I imagine it was like one of those things where the adrenaline kicked, stopped working and kind of and dissipated. So that's kind of the reason why she's being a little bit more reasonable and calm. Like, all right, all my coworkers are telling it was only a matter of time before this happened. You are here and you're bringing me soup, even though I constantly berate you for literally everything. So yeah. But anyways, as they're kind of getting close together, we have Pilse's father showing up and being completely worried as Pilse's mom's immediately like, "Wait, what about the patient you were supposed to be in surgery with?" And then he tells her, I heard about what happened to you, so I quickly had to finish that. Actually, I'm immediately from it. Like, I literally just put all the surgery equipment off and ran over here. And yeah, he's very clearly concerned for her health and is, comforting her. And yeah, they'll basically be having a break together now. And Pilse has that end of a monologue about not being really scared. As then Stigma closes uh, the Lady Black's memory book, as he starts to go kind of like this deconstruction of fairy tales with this story. As he says, "Oh, this is where, if this was a fairy tale, this is where it ends, with you three becoming closer together and becoming a family and living a happily ever after." But real life is a little bit more complicated than that. And then he goes naming down a few fairy tales, like example, like, oh, in fairy tales like Cinderella, well, yes, the happily ever after that is and with her marrying a prince, but what if they had a divorce and her just going back to that abusive lifestyle? Alice in Wonderland, yeah, she left that Wonderland once, but what if she continued going into other Wonderlands that were even crazier? I think he also like says something about Red Riding Hood. So he's like, oh, what about Red Riding Hood? What if the wolf's family came back for revenge? These are where their stories end, but there is not like, but it's not like this story is these characters' lives end at that point. And then he kind of like brings up like, oh, and you know this fairy tale too, don't you? That this isn't where your story ends. As then we kind of, I mean, we don't get a direct sort of reference towards it, but we get a reminder, or it's very obvious that Pilse right now, even though she's still the age, still has her legs. Like, she still has legs where there should be stumps. And in the story, Pilse has her legs. She's not in a wheelchair when she is going to see Haxen. She's not dancing only with her arms while in a wheelchair. It's not that she cannot get there because of I'm in a wheelchair. I can't get home just by riding the wheels. I need someone to help me. No. She is with her normal legs, and it's not that big of a gap. So it's very obvious that not that tragic ending to this fairy tale, or the fairy tale-esque ending with the parents, is not the end of life, and we're going to get into the tragedy with Pilse's losing her legs, and as well as her father, since we know that her father is died when she was really young as well. So yeah, and Pilsey starts to remember those painful memories. Like, we don't see them, but we can put the pieces together because she's starting to really panic, getting into despair, and yeah, she is starting to get out the reaction that Stigma wants. As we get to the final page of the chapter, which is I think a double page spread of Pilsey about to start to go into despair, as Stigma narrate monologues as we see someone approaching their cart. So I think there are not many people who would be approaching Pilse and Stigma right now, so I think we can all guess who it is. So actually, now I think about it, because in the latest chapter also it goes double for that little irony about the connection between this chapter and the one that came out in Japan. But regardless, that's it for this chapter. So yeah, this chapter was standard backstory, and it's kind of like one of those things where people are like very negative about like questioning on exactly why would Pilse's mom even have a child if she's just gonna be abusing and neglecting her. But it's anime, it's usually exaggerated. I mean, at least it makes more sense than like Naruto's flashback where you're like, Alright, who raised newborn Naruto exactly if, everyone else will just left him? But regardless of that, it's a decent backstory chapter. There's nothing crazy about it. It's like, it goes through the general beats that most backstories go. So yeah. Anyways, after Shy, we have It's Time for Torture Princess, chapter 242, titled Torture 242, which at least is a torture chapter, but it's not on the princess, it's in Sakura. But anyways, we start off with Sakura being woken up in, I want to say in her room, but I'm not entirely certain where she. I mean, it's kind of difficult to say what's going on because Sakura is on a couch. So is she sleeping on a couch in Torture's room, or is she like, having one of those things where you're on television or somewhere and you spend your entire time on that to the point you just say, who gives a shit about that? I'm just gonna sleep on the couch. Or maybe she just, I don't know, maybe she had like a late night's work and so she just came sleeping on the couch. I have no idea why she was sleeping on the couch actually. So, regardless, Torture and Princess dressed as Torture woke Sakura up and informing her that she's getting tortured. As Sakura questions it a bit, like it's not that weird that the princess, it's that the person who's supposed to be tortured is acting as a torturer. That is just kind of weird because it's out of nowhere. If you told her at least last night, it would be a bit easier. But here it's just kind of weird. But anyways, we get an explanation because we go back into time a bit when Princess and Torture were about to begin their newest session, as Torture says today is going to be somen noodles, and Princess says, "Oh, I will definitely submit to somen noodles, but you have to be a lot more careful about these because I'm actually very particular about my somen noodles. I really like them. In fact, I prepared them myself when I was in the Empire. So I'm taking this. So I take my somen noodles very seriously, Torture. I better not be disappointed by them." As yeah, actually, just got confused by this, but whatever. So Ariston Torture says, "Oh, if you're such, I see now. Well, anyways, I will achieve it." But then Princess suggests, "Oh wait, why if we have a Somen Noodle showdown as today's torture for, for fun? Because again, like half this is mostly just steady characters playing around on their jobs." So Torture agrees to having a showdown as they want to know who they should test it on, and Princess just recommends Sakura. So yeah, anyways, they explain to Sakura that no, after they explain to her why she's being tortured today, they explain to Sakura how the challenge is gonna work. Torture and Princess are going to give Sakura their somen noodles, and Sakura is not going to know which one is which. He's just gonna have to taste it and tell them which one he prefers. So you have bowl 1 and bowl B, well, bowl 1 A and bowl B, as he's just gonna have to go based on taste. So first is bowl 1, that's Torture's one, as Sakura tastes it, says it's amazing, while he didn't taste bowl B, which is Princess, and he's like, "Oh, this is great." Or I think he actually does a bit more of praised for word, as then he's like, these noodles are really like having squishy or something, as Princess kind of reveals that she's the one who made that bowl because she goes into insane detail about how she managed to get the squishiness and the taste the way it is right now, and all that, which calls out the fact that she's the one who made it. And after that lengthy explanation about how she got the taste of it, she asks Sakura, like, "What bowl do you like the more?" And Sakura says bowl A, which is Torture, which shocks Princess, as Torture explains to Princess why she lost to her, and that is not because Torture did not. Well, one, it's not that Torture didn't know about how to get that taste that Princess got from the somen noodles. It's somen noodles. It's the fact that she knew Sakura's preference in somen noodles. So even though the squishiness or the tastier munch from the somen noodles that Princess made is really tasty, Sakura doesn't like them that much. So she chose the more regular type. So Princess is like, of course, when it comes to taste buds, you should always consider what the person that is going to be tasting wants more than what you want to cook. So it's clear that Tocho won there because, she went by Sakura's appetite rather than competing about the dish themselves being better, which feels kind of a bit cheating, but I mean, again, Torches always knows to get around Princess, so it's no surprise that she would be able to get around Princess this time, even if she is inferior of cooking uh, so many noodles than Princesses, because they're both very, because she knows how to get to people's appetite more. So yeah, anyways, that's the end it's time for Torture Princess. Nice that we are finally going back to some tortures. As we then have Peakness with 100 gold fans who really love you. Chapter 187 titled Rento's Family's Brand New Bancho. Which is technically multiple ponchos, and in the end of the day, it's basically the same poncho, but whatever the fuck you wanna call this hierarchy. But anyways, we start this chapter off with a Hari sleeping pub, and before you think that she's dreaming of having a mother-daughter's day with Hakari, Kurumi, Mei, and Kishika, it's actually a divine revelation dream, as divine revelation tells her to make everyone a kind of gang high school attire. So she basically like, this is tomorrow is gonna be bliss, as we cut to the next day with everyone being in those outfits, as they're like, why are we dressed like this? Which makes me question on why did they ask her only after they were already dressed like that? I mean, it's kind of the same thing with the whole like hair ribbon things. Like when they were flying with, she wanted them all to be dressed like golf lolitas. Like, did no one question while they were putting on those dresses why they are dressing up like that? How did they dress up like that, anyways? But regardless, she just tells us she got a divine revelation, and by who, and divine revelation's reasons are showing up as Ento shows up and introduces Saki to everyone, which I kind of wonder if in the actual it's gonna be Rento wondering, wait, why are they? Okay, great, now they're all dressed like they're in a gang. It's gonna be so much harder to explain that we're not a gang to Saki. But yeah, anyways, Rento introduces Saki to everyone, and Saki does her shtick about how it's important, how seniority is important, so she's the oldest student here, she should be the oldest. As then Kishika and Kusuri point out that they are also third years, so how is she older than them? As which it's kind of a weird interpretation here because it doesn't confirm if they're in the same class or not. I mean, I'm assuming they're not in the same class because none of them react. Because it's usually when the character is in the same class, there is some kind of address. They address it. Like Kurumi, when she's at the moment, she was like, "Hey, you're that girl that's sitting next to me. That's always touching some weird stuff." And Kusuri and Moji was like, "Oh, you're the girl who's always hungry before break period. I guess this makes us friends from now on. Let's be friends from now on." Or Kiki and Zetsu were like, "Oh, who would think I'll meet you here, Zetsu?" Yes, it's a pleasure. It truly is a wonderful thing that we encountered each other here as well. So but here you just have them both saying, "We are also third years. How are you older than us?" And Saki gives a shtick about, oh, because you see, I actually am repeating this grade, so I'm kind of like a fourth year here. So you should, so that's why I'm older than you, ha ha ha. As all the girls have like the logical reaction of, Wait, why is she acting so proud about repeating a year? She knows it's a bad thing, right? As Suja, like, 4! So, yeah, the girls have the classic reactions you would expect. As then, I think it is, uh, May, I think it was Mai who is the one that chirps up and tells, you might, yes, you are the oldest student here. Oh, actually, no. I think it was someone else. Who was it? I'm trying to remember who pointed out, but one of the students points out that yes, you are the oldest student here, but that's only because we go by students. By students. Because if we actually went by age, then May is here is older than you because she's a working adult who's 19 years old. Which, funny enough, they don't actually point our characters' ages here. I mean, we have it pointed out to us because we see a little word bubbles like May, 19. Era. 19 now will be 20 in August. People who try to guess the timeline are going to have a headache. Tama, 21. Natty, 24. Momoha, 27. Hahai, 29. Yaku, 89. So we get that, and we even get like Saki's age and date. As Saki is 18 years old and she turned out 18 on, I think, Japanese first day of school, so it's April. Actually, it's like 1 minute until. Is it 1 minute or 1 second? I want to say it's 1 second until midnight, so she's almost born on April 2nd. So, yeah, she is 18. Which I was kind of expecting 19, that she was 19, but I guess she's just 18. To be fair, I think the characters, most of the girlfriends are supposed to be 15, so, and I think Kurumi is supposed to be, wait, is Kurumi supposed to be 14 or 13? I think it's 14, actually. I mean, I think they just said that she's not 15. But regardless, she's shocked by this. She then goes to what you think would be her in trying to intimidate. Man, she's like kind of sizing her up like this. But then immediately she starts to kind of brown nose to May. So hey, May, how may I help you, my senior? I was expecting to be someone who's not a student here who is older than me. My apologies. As in much more chirps, I was like, what the heck is up with this chick? As Rento kind of explains to her, well, you see, Saki is physically, well, he doesn't say that she's comparable to Suzuku. He just says to her, Saki is not that good physically, as you might have got because of her small frame, and intelligence, well, I don't know how her grades are, but considering the fact that she planned on staying 1 year, decided to fail one grade so she could be the oldest here, it's safe to say she's not really the smartest tool in the shed, so it's very likely that she's never actually been better or surpassed anyone outside of age, so yeah, as Matsura tells her, oh, she's that kind of chick. Basically, she thinks of Saki as an idiot, which is more or less true. As in, Saki, okay, we've come to agreement. Instead of Saki family, we are renaming ourselves into May's family. So yeah, then she's like, oh, do you want me to do your shoulder massage, May? Would you mind if I become your shadow, your right hand in this gang? So yeah, as then there's also a little joke about May, when Saki declares that with May doing her usual straight magic, but because it's about May being in charge, Mai is more like, yeah, May, Big Sis May is in charge, we all get that, we all capiche. With Komi pointing out, wait, that straight man doesn't kind of work here. You kind of going on a roller coaster here. But anyways, when Saki starts to brown nose to her, my pulls May out, way like, no, I'm the only one the little sister May needs. Oh, they were holding like this. It's almost like we're married. But then May chirps up again, and she's like, oh, I am not worthy of being the honored bancho, but Aaron, on the other hand, is second year in college, in a university, which I think is supposed to be just their college, but regardless, so she's older, and then we get a old bar, which was actually revealed, I think, in the chapter before Saki's introduction, which is kind of funny that we have that be. That we get something in mind that was established a chapter ago. Well, technically, no, yeah, one chapter ago. But regardless, so Era is explained. Says, and then Saki does like, oh, we'll name her the Shadow Bancho, and that's what's going. Oh, I think we're getting where the shtick is going to, because we went from, we didn't even go introduce the oldest. We're just kind of going by everyone who's older than Saki. So that's to realize where this plot is going. How this fairy tale is unfolding. As then Saki wants to massage Era, but Momoji jumps up and says, if you want to touch any part of Era, then you should touch her ass, because her Brazilian ass is the best. As Era gets embarrassed by Momoji, as then Era points out that Tama is older than her, because Tama isn't, well, fully fledged or working adult. Mei is more of a, honestly, May's education is kind of weird, because I don't even know if she has basic level education. I mean, okay, yes, she can function like a normal person, but I don't know if she has like any documents confirming that she actually went to school or anything like that. But regardless, she points out that Tama is older than her as we get her age. So we have Saki now wanting to introduce Tama as the boss, and Tama actually does play along with that, where it's responding to, meow, do you get that, meow? As Momo was like, oh, I didn't take you for a copycat. I mean, Tama is every cat in existence, so she would definitely be a copycat as well. And then Saki wants to, oh, do you want me to do anything for you, Tama-san? And Tama wants to be like, oh yeah, well, if that's what you want, then go work for instead of me. Which is obvious, kind of position when you want to be patted, but whatever. So Tama then points out, wait, Nan is actually older than me as well as a teacher, which is kind of, which also getting a little joke here, because characters do not actually state the ages. And at this point forward, it's kind of like, yeah, Nan is a teacher, but why would she be older than you, Tama? Yeah, we know you're 21 and Nan is 24, but being a teacher and you being a working adult doesn't mean that either one of you two is old. Like, you two could be the same age as far as we know. Well, unless if the role of a teacher takes a lot more time to get. So like 21 is impossible for you to not already for you to be a teacher. But regardless, how I don't know many years does it take for someone to become a teacher in Japan. But regardless, not they is older, and then they kind of make a little. Saki wants to name it the Nadi Familia. I guess she kind of wanted to go with American, because like a lot of characters confuse Natty for American, because Japan has Caucasians and Asians speak pretty much the same when it comes down to it. And Natty also kind of plays along with it. Like, a lot of these girlfriends kind of play along with it at this point. But she's like, we can be like one of those American gangsters or mafiosos, which is French, but whatever, Italian, but whatever. As then they have characters be like, we went from a gang to a mafia, which, to be fair, that is a more accurate description of rental famine when you really break it down. I mean, you have Hai, who's in connection with a bunch of businesses as well as probably thousands of lawyers. We have Zetsu, who's basically the religious connection on the cult, since mafias do usually have some kind of religious connection towards it. I mean, just look at forget about it, with them literally having a gang war and doing a gang war, paying popes to have their blessings and all that. So and give their tell their sins. And then yeah. Who else is very gangster-like? I mean, I guess you could also say Karani's involvement with the Gorilla Syndicate could be like another, like, kind of like a sub-faction of the group. Like, yeah, just like Rental Family is more of a mafia than a gang. A cult as well, but it's mostly a mafia, really, me personally. At least that's what my money's on. But anyways, then there's like a little like segment that, oh, what kind of rules would you want to imply not this son? As now he wants a rule where everyone has to speak proper American English, but kind of just point out that's a relatively respectable rule of things considered. And she points out the fact that Nani's English is the worst of anyone there, so she would be punished the most of anyone there. So yeah, thank God that she isn't in charge because she points out that Momoa is actually older than her. Where we have saying, "Oh, Momoa over here is my teaching senpai," as Saki has like a big version. Teaching senpai, which she has said throughout this entire chapter, but this is where they are getting more fun or more One Piece like. So yeah, which actually I think it's like the first time we addressed the fact that Nadi and Momoa are teachers together, and Nadi is a newcomer in school, while Momoa has at least been there for a few years. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's kind of funny how this like the first time we directly have. I mean, yeah, we had like I think because before this chapter, I think the only time it was actually kind of addressed somewhat is the fact that Momoa and Nadi were together when Asu was going around meeting with all the girlfriends. So it's kind of funny how this is like the first time we had the two be together when we had the two of them have been in the same harem for I think okay. I think did Momoa join volume 12 or was it volume 13? I think May joined volume 13, so I think Momoa was in volume 12. Although maybe it was in the beginning of volume 13, but I don't know. Like needless to say, it's been quite a bit of a time before since the two of them met, and yet. And that I don't think has ever actually been directly stated. Kind of a weird thing, but whatever. I mean, there's hundreds of girlfriends, literally, so it's gonna take time for all of them to hit this spotlight. And let's be sharp honest, though. So with the way this manga is going, and with the volumes, covers, and all that, I would not be surprised if even after we have 100 girlfriends, we have like 6, 7 volumes guaranteed if you ask me. So I don't think it's time for these two to be together. Maybe we're waiting for a third teacher to be a girlfriend, and then we're gonna have like a teacher sort of chapter. But anyways, back to Momoha being the boss, and she's kind of like already drunk, and she's kind of holding on to Sake. Sake saying, "We'll be changing to Momoha family." And I was like, "All right, gang, time to drink up." And Sake's like, I'm talking about legal allowed to drink since you have to be 20 in Japan to drink. But whatever you say, boss." As Kanye points out, wow, you're the type that would just let herself be walked all over by everyone. But Momoa points out, but wait, if anyone should be in charge, it should be Hai. She's the boss, she's the chairwoman. As Saki's like, the chairwoman? So she's also shocked by this. Now she has to, well, let us call ourselves we have renamed ourselves the Hai family. Malay. Any orders, boss? And so I was like, oh, I have a few ideas. Like, why don't you and Hakurumi start kissing one another? I mean, we don't have that, but I am waiting for a time when these two kiss and Hakurumi want to go to the usual hunt with Saki. I think it's kind of a given that we have that. Like, I can already see this kind of chapter. Saki, Suzuku, Kurumi, and one other very fragile child, Kohai. Maybe Ako or maybe you could go with Matsumoto as well, or Aaron, or any, or like I don't know. I mean, honestly, with this kind of group, you could with someone like Suzuku and Saki and one other that's very difficult to understand girl. You probably could make a joke about none of them being able to communicate except Kurumi. Oh, maybe, oh no, I gotta see. Kurumi is too dazed because of the food she's eating to talk. Well, everyone else tries to communicate with an officer, but they all talk in very ununderstandable ways. But regardless of that, what the interaction between Saki and the next girlfriend is gonna be in the chapter after this one, we'll have to I mean, it's a break week because Saki got too pissed off at the end of the chapter to continue in the next chapter. But regardless, we have to wait and see what kind of interaction Saki's going to have with which girlfriend. So yeah, anyways, Harden points out that Yako is the oldest because she's the grandma here. As Kusu says, yes, Yako is 89 years old. And Saki says, wait, that can't be. You can't tell me that 89 is here as well. Wait a minute. That's all she's admitting. That's clear an aura of someone who's 89 years old. as Kushika tells her, stop using age. Don't use age as power scaling. Which, yeah, I think she does. Pretty much does that. As then she's like, wait a minute, 89 is like 4 times more than I am. She's standing there so unassumingly. She's like the shadow bunch of this family. And then Saki immediately goes to on the floor, telling that she'll lick Yaku's boots, which makes Yaku nervous a bit. Which, funny enough, I feel like she would probably be one of the ones who can understand this type of stuff the most. But I guess it's kind of weird having a younger girl licking her boots just because she's older than her. As then Yako's like, I find giving that us old people should give our respect to and future to the younger generation. So I think it'll be best if the shadow bunch or the rule of the shadow bunch, as you speak, should belong to Rentaru, or the bunch should belong to the Rentaru for being the man that you love. I also imagine that Yaku might be so old that, or the very least, the joke that she is usually around her, she's from like the period where it was more traditional for whoever the man of the house was for him to be in charge. So I wouldn't be surprised if like she's more. I mean, he is the man of the house of the family, so he should be in charge automatically. It doesn't matter how many of us are older than him. But yeah, anyways, then Saki, because of Yaku being so much older than him, she immediately wants to lick Rento's boots, as in Rento comes down, gives her a kiss, and I said, no, 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 it's fine. We want you the way you are. It doesn't matter the fact that they are somewhat older than you. We just want you to act the normal way. No need to brown nose to any one of us. And besides, we don't have a hierarchy in this family, as there's like a little joke about it where Saki kind of says, "All right, fine, you say this, but say that, but then she points out to Shizuku and says, "Oh, the tiny meek one, you must be a new recruit because you are quite young looking." And Shizuku tells her that she's actually the third girlfriend, but she uses the third assassin because of the book, which now makes me wonder what book she's reading. As she's like, so you're a veteran in this family. As they kind of just point out to her, there's like no real hierarchy here. Like we don't really focus on who is in charge here. As Hakai, they makes a little joke about Kane's ego, which is more her pride, but whatever. As then Kane claps back a bit about Hakai, about her having too big, and then the guy's like, oh, too big boobs, no, too big fat on her stomach. So yeah, anyways, then we just have all the girlfriends calling her senpai, or the very least all the young girlfriends calling her senpai, which makes Saki very happy, and yeah, you're all great group of kohai. And then we have like another group of girlfriends being like just Saki. You have like Matsumoto calling her Saki, we have Kiki calling her Saki, we have Aya using her full name, we have Karani using Saki. I think we have Mei also using Saki. Sue, I think, is also using Saki. Even Kurumi is a bit of a weird character because he also says Saki and is part of that group, but Kurumi usually refers to her seniors by senpai. Like she refers to Karane as Karani's senpai. She um refers to Suzuki as Suzuki's senpai. So it's kind of weird that she doesn't refer to Saki as Saki's senpai. Unless it's like a thing, a little joke that's gonna happen in the extra or later on. Which like, you do realize I wanna say senpai, I just need time to be able to mouth it out. Saki senpai. So, yeah. Although I could honestly see Saki and Kurumi getting along as well. The thing about Kurumi is that she has quite a few relationships in the family already. Like, she has the Kohai to Kai Senpai, she has the Momiji, she has the Hakari. So it's kind of like difficult that we wanted to add another relationship on top of that. But whatever, that's the end of the 100 Girlfriend chapter, and we have a break because Saki got too pissed off at the ones who didn't call her Senpai. So yeah. Anyways, then we have 4 nights of the apocalypse coming out of the break period, as we have chapter 195 59 titled "Within His Arms." quite a symbolical symbolism kind of chapter, but whatever. So, anyways, we start this chapter off with Gawain explaining the Infine Gladiator Festival, saying that the people who are locked up in there fight it out with one another for the price of being freed and one wish for better tripa. And that Gladiator Festival has a lot of onlookers, and Bill Trump is kind of the one that's kind of like the emperor, sort of standing on a sideline to watch and enjoy the show. As then Donnie says, "Oh wait, but then if that's the case, then he'll probably be the most paranoid in that situation. And he would be probably prepared to slice at us too." And also, there's like this hype that's built around Bill Trapper's power level because he's kind of like he is unlike other ones like Ironside and Wol- Waldane, who got their asses beaten by Saracens, and Pelgar, who while he didn't have his asses beaten by them, he didn't really fight them properly, and he's kind of at least been referred to as the weakest one of the four knights if you go by the fact that Lancelot considered his skills below Pelagard, but whatever. We didn't have we did, but to be fair, that was like pure combat skill, and we even have built. We even have Mortlock being put above Ironside. That department, but that's besides the point. So yeah, anyway, Don is panicking about because that's when Bill Chopper would be the most on his guard. But Gawain tells him now he's too arrogant of a man to have his guy. He's completely safe. You probably would honestly welcome a challenge to try for someone to try to kill him, which I could imagine this happening. Like I could imagine Bill Trapper being all casual as someone tries to kill him, and he just immediately cuts these people down easily. Kind of like a showing of threat level. But yeah, anyways, Donnie points out, oh, he's as arrogant as you are. As Gawain punches him over his head, as then they Gawain starts to let's discuss this later. Let's have dinner time now. As then Gawain goes to the dinner room, as they're kind of wondering about what about your father? Isn't he gonna come join us? And Gawain tells them it's kind of awkward between her and her father. Whenever they have dinner together, so they sort of just have it whenever they want, which is kind of a weird thing when it comes to like this because when does the chef know when to cook stuff? Maybe it's like a thing where it's like pre-prepared everything, so they essentially just need to grandma and grandpa to warm it up. Which I guess now it's time to explain the whole, kind of explaining a few things that we got to know about going beforehand. Like alright, so I do feel kind of conflicted on what Gawain and Kai exactly are relationship, what kind of relationship Gawain and Kai really have, because the way it was kind of implied pre-times, it was like one of those things where Kai kind of traumatized or abused Gawain in a way where even though she's stronger than him, she's too scared to fight against him, to the point that her only solace were her grandparents. But no, it kind of seems to be just kind of like that thing where it's very awkward about them. Basically, I feel like they don't really know one another very well. And based on what Kai says at the end of the chapter, it sounds like the two of them have a more clumsy relationship as father and daughter. But regardless, Gawain calls her grandparents to come in, and we see that the Gawain's grandparents are more in a figurative sense, as they are just seem to be some kind of golems. Their grandma is some weird imp-like wood golem creature that is honestly quite horrific with how she screams and like, "This is what's for dinner tonight." And Grandpa is like a sort of dinosaur or maybe dragon bone creature who shows up because their grandma forgot the cutlery, as Gawain tells grandma that they'll also be having a cup of tea after, when dessert comes. So yeah. Anyways, then we have like a classic shtick about like grandparents embarrassing their granddaughter in front of her friends and all that. As the grandparents as going down to go because they're embarrassing and all that, and go back on the double. And yeah, then we also have like a little the couple starting to eat, and they mention, oh, do these grandparents make the food? And Gwen's like, oh no, it's grandma's friend. He's the one that the chef in our place, so he was the one that makes things. So I wonder what we're gonna do with that character, since I could see that character be the one that ends up telling Arthur and the Chaos Knights about this. I mean, it's difficult to say exactly because like Kai doesn't plan on telling them, Gawain is not telling them, and the way they're currently planning in a way where they would be kind of free of this trouble, but I don't know. We have to wait and see on exactly what's going to happen. I would not be surprised if it's like revealed like when the chef is someone that's might be a chaos or working undercover or something. But regardless, like again, we have to wait and see on that part. So yeah, anyways, then we have like a couple talking a bit over dinner and like point out how exactly Spencer going to join because he's not without any armor or anything, and but so it's like, oh, I kind of just sort of jumped into this. But anyways, Gwen says they're lucky they're with her, that they met her first, so now they'll be able to prepare it for the next move and get Tristan platoon back. So yeah. Yeah, anyways, after and finished their dinner, Dolly is completely stuffed as Kat's like, where's Percival? And Dolly tells them that, oh, Percival went to the toilet. So, yeah. As Gwen's like, oh, Jesus, oh, yeah, I'll go get him. Jesus, how could you get lost in this place? But we see that Percival didn't actually go to the toilet, or at the very least, after he went to the toilet, he maybe saw Key outside, so he went to go talk to him as Key's like, oh, you must think I'm gonna tell on you to my brother, don't you? As Percy's like, oh yeah, I have no issues with that. I do not believe you're gonna tell us this, but I'm curious about who Arthur is. Like, I only have few bits of information, but I don't really know him. Which like a lot like this, which I think is meant more to be this for like the new readers because remember, if I understand this correctly, Four Knights was supposed to be the original like main series, with since being more of a prequel. So it's like get the prequel before needing the prequel kind of situation. But there's some elements where you're like, how are you gonna communicate them to the people who haven't read Saturday since if this is meant to be its own story? So this chapter is kind of meant to explain how kind-hearted Arthur is, since to most people he's just gonna be viewed as a racist douchebag who wants to cause chaos and destruction for the sake for his perfect version for his version of a perfect kingdom. So Kai starts explaining his backstory with Arthur. He explains that Arthur was a kid that his father found and adopted, and explained that he was his new little brother, and that everyone in the family or every royal basically immediately got a liking to Arthur. Like as soon as they met Arthur, they liked him. They loved him. They was like, oh yeah, he's a great guy. Like this kid may not be a noble, but or a royal, but I love this kid. Like this kid is definitely worthy of being alongside us and all that kind of jazz, which caused Kai to be very jealous of Arthur because like he has to at least earn some of their admiration and respect. But Arthur is here for like a day or two, and he's already like winning all these people over casually. So yeah. Anyways, they will match a piece with Excalibur, which I think is just Merlin. I think it was there beforehand. That the way that Merlin met Arthur was that she came to Camelot and gave the sword and all that, and they had that whole Arthurian legend about Arthur pulling out the Excalibur. As then we have can explain a lot of people came to that, a lot of knights, a lot of power hungry, a bunch of people. In fact, we even see what appears to be a Varghese Ironsight and maybe Pelga, I think it's just about. I mean, Vagi seems very clear, but Ironside's kind of weird. But it's kind of difficult to say for Pelga and Ironside because we only have the back of their hats. But I think it's meant to be those two. So yeah, which isn't surprising since the two wars there to have served Arthur beforehand until they betrayed him or abandoned him, and then Ironside came back. But regardless, Arthur pulled out the sword, and he was crowned and deemed worthy. They even, like this song was so well renowned that even people said, "Oh, who pulls it off should be the next king," which again made Kai even more jealous because he did try to pull the sword off. Of course, everyone tried, but he also didn't manage to do anything. So Excalibur was only pulled off by Arthur, which then he he then tricked Arthur into giving him the sword so he could lie to his father. He was the one who pulled the sword out because then everyone would respect him and all that. And while I don't think it was officially made, or it said that officially that whoever pulls the sword would become the next king. But it was kind of like one of those like things that would be like, all right, whoever pulls the sword out should probably be the king because it's like no one else can pull it out. So yeah, this is kind of so showing him worthy, but it didn't work because Merlin, who I'm assuming, I'm assuming Merlin also sort of became kind of an advisor of the king, and probably why that was viewed more legitimate. Like this mage came here with this sword, and has now become the king's personal mage. So yeah, and but then his lies get exposed, and King is very angry, and he's disgraced by his son, so he throws him in a dungeon for punishment for being, for deceiving everyone. And then we kind of get like a demonstration of Arthur's kindness to a point that he went to his son, well, to his brother, and I imagine also that he stripped Kai of his title as the successor, so he gave it to Arthur, which was another thing that Kai got a bit jealous of, the fact that it feels like Arthur's gonna become the next king at this rate. And now he kind of became the next king. So Kai got jealous, and now it was pretty much probably official. He probably, the father through Kai in the dungeon, he was probably like, alright, I'm making Arthur the king now. He pulled off the sword. My current son, the current successor, is a fucking disgusting liar. So obviously, I'm gonna make Arthur the king. And yeah. So then Kai stated that whenever Arthur came to visit him in the dungeon, he was always kind of raving on him and telling him how he hated him and all that. As Arthur always had like this very like he was sad that he was being told that sad that his brother was expressing so much hatred towards him, which was he had like a tears around his face where he was like, yeah, I understand why you're angry at me. I'm hurt that you're feeling so negatively against me, but I understand. And then Arthur, in time, managed to convince their father to let Kai out of the dungeon, but Arthur, the father still was being a douche, let's be honest with ourselves. So he still wanted to punish Kai, so he forbade him from eating anything, but Arthur was so kind that he took food, took his food and gave it to Kai so he'll be able to be fat. So, yeah, Kai, from that point onwards, start probably to respect Arthur a little bit. So be like, you are my big brother. I guess I should at least be nice to you. You are technically at least kind-hearted. So, as you might imagine, you might imagine, and all this has had such an effect on Kai that to a point that now he doesn't even believe the person that's sitting on the throne is Arthur. He has no idea why it is. Is it brainwashing, mind control, magic corruption? He has no idea. All he knows is that's not his kind-hearted brother that would do so much even for a brother that tricked them as well, tricked them, used them, and insulted them so much. And I think in the extras for Silence and the River was a moment where he tried to kill Arthur. So it's very clear that there's something off with Arthur's personality that's making him do all this stuff that he usually wouldn't do. So yeah, Percival finds this out, and then after this conversation about Arthur, Kai says to Percival if he could please stay going away because things like this get leaked to Arthur because he probably figures out that even if I keep my mouth shut, even if no one in this boat will say anything, there's probably gonna be someone who's gonna manage this. Whatever you guys are planning to do is probably gonna lead into me getting in trouble. Especially if we assume that like Tristan's group got defeated, with Gawain managing to weasel her way to uh, Key back to Key's place or to Key's boat. or the other one's being thrown to undefined dungeon, but whatever. Like he can, it's not difficult to assume that he'll be taking the blame for that. But the only thing that Kai wants is for going to be taken away, so she'll be safe and she'll be used and all that. As Percival tells her that tells him that everything is fine. Gawain is great. She's a great comrade. And while your apple, well, similar to your apples, they're not made look very nice. It is very clearly made out of a lot of love. Like you may be very a clumsy parent in with your own words, but you still raised her with a lot of love. So yeah, Kai finds that strange, and even Gawain, who's been listening to this whole thing because she probably sensed Percival's nearby, she was like, "You said it," basically agreeing with her father on this. So yeah, we end this off in a very sweet note, which considering the fact it was kind of implied that previously that Gawain was more abused by her father. It's kind of funny how we have like these very sweet moments, but whatever. We have and that's where we end the chapter. I'm assuming in the next chapter the characters are either going to set up to go to enter dungeon or they're gonna be attacked by someone. I wouldn't be surprised if it's probably the latter. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the next what happens is like some chaos knights show up and there was some rumors about some people illegally entering Camelot and them investigating with Key just being like, well, go to the house. I'm not gonna stand your way, kind of deal. But whatever. That's the end of the chapter. Then we head off to One Piece chapter 1124 titled "Close Friends" or "Close Friend." Yeah, this chapter should goes in directions I wasn't expected. But anyways, we start this chapter off with Morgan's reacting to all this insane news, like, oh my god, there's big news! Oh, this is crazy! So he's very excited because he has like a lot of ton of news stories to report. Like he has like the whole world ending. What the world's gonna be emergency. The greatest mind in history said so. So and then we also have like the other news story about the Yonkers and all that. Oh my god, the despair and the gloom and the panic is gonna be so great. And the best part is the only people that can get this information are from us. Yes. As then we have Vivi concerningly starting to act like Rachel Zegler, although it might just be me panicking. I don't really know. I don't really know where Oda's going with this, but I'm kind of starting to question Vivi's behavior because Vivi's kind of giving Morgan's the business about, being false. Although, like, this is the kind of thing, I feel like one of the characters should point out that the only reason why they're even able to say some of this news, why they're able to send their news all around the world, and able even to a point they can even report stuff that the world government doesn't want to. Because remember, after Rabbit or before Wapol and Vivi got retrieved by Morgans, there was a story that Morgans was not supposed to tell anyone. To a point that Cyberpool even sent one of the agents to like force him into it if he didn't accept the check. But then Morgans knocked him out and still went on to report that news, even though the world government didn't want to. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I kind of get why Morgan has to report every news in a favorable light in the world government. He probably kind of figured out that he had, like, it's kind of, I imagine the reason why he wanted to broadcast the news about Luffy holding Vegapunk hostage the way he did was probably like, alright, big newspaper we had mentioning something the world government didn't want to mention. Let's get back into their good graces by reporting a news in a way they would like, which they did like because said it was like, this article is good. I approve of this. So I really am questioning Vivi's behavior right now because like that's kind of thing that I feel like a lot of these people who shit on Morgan's newspaper don't really seem to understand. It's like, you do understand that Morgan's needs to print information like this, right? Because if he printed up the actual truth of the matter, well, I don't know about you, but I would see a giant mythical bird creature be chasing after you guys, and I don't think Morgan's news station is exactly gonna be able to handle Mars, if you know what I mean, or any Cyberpool agents, or Agent Zero agents. Number one target on the world government right now, the news agency. I mean, they probably can't do anything about wanted posts and all that because they would still need them for distribution. But still, I don't think it's a good smart idea to like get on the world government's bad side if Morgan wants to even report anything that the world government doesn't want. So yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Vivi's personality here. Kind of feels like she's being a, let's call her, modern Hollywood woman, but maybe it's gonna be a moment where Morgan points this out, or maybe there's gonna be something that's gonna be more serious. But who knows? Again, it's too early. We're gonna have to wait and see where Morgan's story is gonna go from there here this point onwards. But anyways, Morgan states that as then we have Wapple trying to calm Vivi down, be like, Vivi, my dear, let's not anger the nice bird person over here into, giving a reason why he should not want to just take care of us because, we are kind of, if we get discovered in the surface, we are fucking dead. So please do not object to him. But Vivi is just not taking it, so yeah, we just have them. We just have her hopefully not acting like a bitch. But on the lucky side, she at least seems to be getting some Yuri from because some of the girls seem to be really happy about her behavior. So yeah, anyways, then Morgan tells Vivi to like at least try to take a bit of this attitude with him because otherwise you're in danger, especially since if the world gets flooded, he is the safe one. He is in the sky here, which is kind of true. But regardless, I do wonder if the final war or he's gonna be like having technology or stuff that will allow him to like broadcast the entire world in action. He's gonna be like like in MHA or Gogoluza Ranger, whenever there's like a fight, they have like the helicopter news agencies like flying around the field. All right, here's the battle between Shoto and Shoto and Dabi. Oh, this is the fight between Izuku Midoriya and Shigaraki. This is a fight between Red Keeper and Death Messiah. So that does make me kind of wonder if that's kind of be Morgan's role there. But anyways, then Morgan goes into news articles that are going to be mentioned in the next chapter or something. We're going to be like, Emperor Blackbeard versus Trafalgar Law. Emperor Red Hair versus Kid. The Luffy murdering Vegapunk. And we'll be like, liar! So, yeah. Anyways, then we cut back to ACAT with Sentamaru leaving by the boat with a barrel of some food and going away. He's going to be rowboating. I don't know where he's going to be rowboating, probably into the next cover story. As then we cut to the Marine ship as Akainu is calling to know what the hell is the status, what the hell is going on. I don't know if he sensed hockey from Joy Boy or if he's just like wondering what the hell is going on because there's like no communication or maybe, I mean, considering that Sadamaru's going on a barrel and a rowboat going away and it's very likely it's been at least an hour or two before any kind of the news has reached Akainu for a while now. So he's probably just contacting them for the sake of contacting them. Or maybe he was calling them throughout the entire battle. No one just responded to him at all. But anyways, Kizo is, while everyone's still unconscious, he's going to the Daimushi and responding towards it. As he kind of gives a kind of very brief explanation. Like, because Akira also asks him why is he the one answering what is the Saturn and what is going on with Saturn and all that. And Kizo's like, yeah, all the younger ones are currently on the floor. Either they're unconscious, asleep, or foaming at the mouth. I'll have them give you a full update after they wake up. As his kind of modern depiction of J. Jonah Jameson attitude, and he's like, "You suck! Did you not do your job? Do you not take your job seriously? Are you slacking out or something?" As Kizo ask kind of very calmly, "Tell me something, Kaino. Did you have to kill a close friend?" As then we have him having a bit of a flashback to Vegapunk as he's like remembering their first meeting, which actually turns out that Kizo was the one that, well, he arrested Vegapunk, but Vegapunk me and figured out, yeah, you guys just want me to want me to work for you guys so I could benefit you. So how much you gonna pay me for my stuff, for the stuff I'm gonna be providing you? Then also like when he became an admiral, he was asking, "This is how what I need, how I want Egghead to look like." After Punk has to be like, "Oh, Kiza, you also help us." Kiza, "I'm an admiral now. Why must I also help with all this stuff?" So, so yeah. As then we also have we now have the flashback from a point of view of Kiza when he was stabbing Vegapunk, and he's like, if you, well, I did this right now. So if you are over there criticizing me so much, then why don't you come here and look at to yourself if you wanna know everything. And you little brat. Which, fine enough, I think the two of them are supposed to be the same age, but I don't really know. I don't want to say Akane is older than Kizaru, but I think they're meant to be more closer in age, but whatever. I guess even at this point, you feel like Akane is more of a brat to him or anything. As Akane is in like, I may have went too far. As he's like, as Akane kind of shows like grief and apology, like, my apologies, brother. As Kizaru's like, well, too late for that. Or don't give me any now. So yeah, it's a very interesting kind of dialogue between Kizaru and Akane because it's finally like addressing like all the things that's happening. Which I was like, I kind of feel like Akane kicked himself in with the situation. Like, why would you pick Kizaru? I mean, you should have known they were friends. You should have known they were comrades. You should know there was like a special connection between them. He really should have sent someone like Maki there. Like that bastard. Maybe weaker than Kizaru, but at least he wouldn't be, you know, the grief stroking for killing his one of his closest friends. I think the unofficial translations refer to Kizaru Vegapunk as his best friend, but regardless, regardless, we that's how the situation unfolded, and yeah, we cut away from that with since probably very awkward from. I mean, imagine Kyle at this point just said, "I'll send some people to come help you all recover and get the full explanation later. Just rest now." But yeah, anyways, we then cut to the Elbaf and the Striad ships as we find out from Frankie, Jimbe, and Zoro that even though in the last chapter they ended up with a sort of celebratory mood, no one there is really like celebrating, or at the very least Luffy is in such a negative mood that he's not really, no one really wants to celebrate. They had like a drink, but it was like, you're really depressed about Vegapunk. Yeah, we will not celebrate with kind incentive. As then we just have this kind of reaction. We just have them kind of casually talk about like, yeah, I would not suppose I'm shocked that it affected him this much, but what can you do, I suppose? With Zoro just acting like a poser, which, okay, can someone explain to me why is Zoro not acting as if, it's just me, Zoro's starting to act more and more like the way Karakuri happened before his character development part. When in the beginning of, well, not beginning of Whole Cake Island, when the middle of Whole Cake Island, where Karakuri showed up and he was like this, I have to be the perfect big brother to my siblings. Like, why is Zoro now acting like that? Is he, is he too drunk again? I mean, he is definitely drinking, but because, like, now he's, like, criticizing Luffy for being grieved. And the Emperor shouldn't be sad about the death of one old geezer. So, yeah, this definitely gonna spur a bit of a debate in the community about Zoro's behavior. And well, he's kind of becoming so it's kind of becoming like everything that the Strats are not supposed to be, or everything that's like supposed to be a bad thing. Yet for some reason we're supposed to like it with Zoro, but I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be a moment like where characters point out, Zoro, your idea of being an emperor had you waste time on a guy who you could beat if you used 3 of your strongest moves on him repeatedly. Don't give up. If this is what being an emperor's crew now means, then we are not an emperor's crew. We are just a bunch of posers. Like this is Zoro's gonna start to walking around Luffy at his right side constantly being constantly like because this is what I'm kind of getting from Zoro at this point. But anyways, we leave the Thousand Sunny as we head to Albaf's ship, which, considering that Lilith recovering and Chopper and Nami were all on Alba on Sunny, means that they all transport Lilith onto the ship. Yeah, they kept the ship underwater. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, wouldn't Alba ship be big enough to hold the Thousand Sunny? Maybe I'm just confusing my ship sizes a bit, but I feel like a ship made specifically for giants, would be able to hold the Thousand Sunny. But whatever. Maybe it's like a weight thing. Like the Thousand Sunny is too heavy to put it on the Alba ship. I mean, that could definitely work. I wouldn't be surprised. But regardless, we cut to Lilith recovering as she's back to being conscious. As they're like, oh Lilith Chan, and all that stuff, and then Lilith starts to mess with her headset. As the characters are like, sorry to tell you, but you're the only Vegapunk we managed to save, and yeah, we are sorry about that. As Liv's like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I was told everything just now. Don't worry about it. As then the characters are like, uh, um, they're like, wait, told everything by who? Anna punched you, but as then Liv's just like, wait, give me a minute to grieve. And she falls a bit of a cry fest. As then the Usopp's like, which part of you is supposed to be evil? As Liv saying like, okay, I'm good, I'm hungry now. As the captains are kind of shocked by this. No, I'm kind of guessing that the evil that the Vegapunk is referring to, or the evil that Lilith represents, is more less of an evil in terms of I am the greediest person in the world, or like something I won't destroy anything, but it's more akin to not caring as much or not showing as much grief as you should have. Because like despite her crying about their deaths and all that, which is probably viewed more nicer than like York, who's celebrating the fact they all died. Her reaction is like, "Oh no, they have died." It's kind of like how Ratkeeper in Gogo Loser Ranger. He's like, "Oh no, oh no, this Rat Ranger was such a good man. I can't believe he died. I can't believe he's dead now." While he was the one that killed him, and he's more complaining about like public image and really like he's grieving, but he's grieving in a more evil sense. And while Liv is definitely grieving in a more better sense than he is, it's kind of like she's grieving for seconds. It's kind of like get the emotion out of the way rather than get it than anything else. And she's got quickly. And I could also even imagine this being a question in SBS at this volume was at some point like, say, Oda, if Lilith's supposed to be evil, what part of her is supposed to be evil? As I might state that she's evil in more of a set, nuanced way. She's more evil in like a how the kid pirates are evil sort of sense than over the top evil. Yeah, it's kind of like she's more akin to legal villains than all for one kind of deal. So yeah, anyways, after that, Lilith wants to go eat, so they're wondering maybe this is the reason why she's not hungry is because of being cut off from York and all that. As then they move to where everyone is, as they tell that Chopper tells Liv well, actually I think it's Book tells everyone that Luffy is so down about not succeeding in Vegapunk, the fact that he was only able to eat 7 whole grapes. As he was like, that's plenty! They're fucking giant grapes! But that's not really enough for Luffy, so he's just stuffing his giant himself with grapes. Like, oh, Vegapunk, I'm sorry, I made a promise with you and I couldn't do it. What kind of younker am I? As they sort of basically informs everyone to not be upset. Like, you've accomplished your goal. Like, yeah, you failed to keep us all alive, but alive when it comes to us, to us Vegapunks, it's kind of a weird part. Like, they are there to your understanding, but they are technically alive. So, characters are a bit confused by this. Like, we don't even get a bad explanation. Like, she doesn't explain, oh, the components that make their personalities are all inside of me, and they are giving me advice and all a bunch of information. That's the reason why I said I understand everything. I was told everything because of them or anything like that. But basically, Lilith just says it doesn't really matter. Which does work on Luffy because even though he doesn't fully understand what exactly Lilith means, if the one of the Vegapunk tells them, it's fine. The fact that you saved me is accomplishing your goal. You saved me, you fulfilled Vegapunk's request. Only one of us needed to get off Egghead for Vegapunk's request to be solved, which makes Luffy very happy that he succeeded in this case, or at least in a way succeeded, as he starts to get his kicks back, as he calls Zoro that Luffy's I'm not sure if Luffy's the one who calls Zoro in or someone calls Zoro and tells them that Luffy is fine, come aboard so we can celebrate as they are all starting to celebrate. Oh yeah, you're finally back to your usual spirit, Luffy. Great, now we can start celebrating. Bring on the ale, bring on the food. As then we have a little bit of conversation about what Vegapunk says show is wild. So who gets the One Piece basically gets to decide the world. So who do you think is gonna get the One Piece, Luffy? Luffy tells him, "What do you think I start this whole adventure now? It's always gonna be me. And listen, even though I don't know if we're gonna end up being enemies in the future, we end up being enemies in the future for the One Piece. Even if it's you guys, I will surpass you guys and become the king of pirates." Basically saying, right now we are friends, but if you get in my way about being the king of pirates, I am fighting you all, friendship or not. So they're all happy, all celebrating because they're able to express all their joy. As we then have all them throwing their marks, as Robin is very happy as she hugs Chopper like a stuffed animal. And I'm fine, we'll be in Albeth and I'll be able to meet Soul. As Chopper's I'm very happy for you, Robin. Can you stop squishing me like a stuffed toy? As then we immediately cut to Albeth as the ships are approaching. As there's a person on the shores being that just says, "Come." Is it Soul? Who knows? Is it one of the riot pirates? Who knows? Is it the man marked by flames? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? It's just a silhouette. At this point, Oda is really just using silhouettes as a more because he used them for so long, more than anything else. Because let's be strict honest, so scouts like these are not gonna be in silhouette for hundreds of years. It might take a long time for until they get fully revealed, but whether it's the guy that looked like Shanks or had at least Shanks' sword a chapter or two ago, or this person, they're probably gonna be revealed in the end of the year or start next year. The most I could see these characters be is a mystery for until next year. That's how long I can imagine them be mysteries. And even now, I don't think they're gonna do much until that. But anyways, that's the end of the One Piece chapter. As then we have Chain Soldier chapter 138 titled A Turbulent First Day. I mean, I would say next chapter should have this title and this being like a shocking start of the election or something like that, but whatever. Anyways, we start this chapter off with disguising a tanker assaulting Yuki by being hot, and because modern standards make it basically almost open ignore these complicated situations. With a woman does it to a man, so it's okay. And she's hot, and there's some mutual sorta agreement. Although in this chapter, Tanka even points out that Yuki probably wouldn't want to resist, probably also because of what she's doing for his sister and her friends, but whatever. She is pure lust right now, showing that despite Azu being the most lustful character in the story, at least assuming the gods vanishes. Well, actually, how does Azu stack up to the gods vanishes? Well, whatever. We'll find out how thirsty these characters are later. Would it be funny if the way that Azu beats Naohime is just lasting after Naohime so much, and Naohime is actually a more meek character when it comes to these kinds of activities, so she's very fragile when it comes, so she'll be very submissive to Azu. But whatever, fantasies later. Now it's time that we do the classic anime well, not anime, classic joke about characters about to do something, but then someone comes and interrupts them. As we have Azu opening the door, be like, "Oh, a man's cleaning. I get slave China. I'm gonna have some fun." As she opens the door, but there's no one there because apparently Tanko doesn't want a threesome between herself, Yuki, and Azu. Tanka, damn you! We could have fun. If you're gonna be a sexual assaulter, you might as well give us a threesome with you two. With you two. Flying around, you two are both as lost for it by the looks of things. But anyways, thanks to Azu interfering, Tanka is able to, alright, I shouldn't be viable to be sent to prison for assault. Actually, I'm aware, I probably wouldn't be affected. And this is a misandrous society, I probably wouldn't be affected anyways. But regardless, I would morally feel horrible if I did this. So let's just put clothes back on and get ourselves ready. As Yuki now wants to talk about a bit more politics uh, in MDF and the parties, as he's like, wait, wouldn't I think I don't want to say he uses the term president of Japan, but he uses like the I think in industry of defense or something thing, as like wouldn't the person there be able to kind of like overrule a lot of stuff or decide a lot of stuff? As Tenko says, yes, at the beginning of MDF, Major Defense Force, that has been a thing where they control a lot, but during the time it kind of was going, not certain the timeline exactly, but basically during the time, it's sort of been respected that the people who are actually working there sort of have a better opinion on the matter, so they will kind of increasingly they had more and more. So more and more power, they gain more and more power when it comes to these matters. So elections are usually more just between the people that select and, let's say, the political party of Japan commands on exactly who decides everything. So there is a bit more freedom. So they will have freedom there. And based on what Tobera states later, I think that was probably one of the few times where the government did something smart. But anyways, Tenka says that they will do it and they will prioritize on taking down. And she also mentions that the way the situation currently is, the chances of Kyoka winning are basically almost zero, and the Rand has a very much a landslide victory, which a lot of people have stated how exactly Rand could have a landslide victory. I mean, aside from the two guaranteed votes with the two political figures, as well as Bell being Bell, so it's very likely those three could be very much ironclad votes, from what we know at least. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised there's like a character development moment for Belle where she actually votes against Rand because she's concerned about how much egotistical Rand can be. Like, I could see Belle saying like this, like, I could say, oh, Belle, how could you? With Belle telling Rand, I know, Rand, there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. That got, like, and she might even, like, have a speech there where the god that we fought against, the one I killed, had insane power. He was giant. If Valvera didn't free me, if I haven't grouped up with everyone, if I hadn't used to, if the form that Yuki had with me was a flying invisible ship that I could use to get close to him, we would have died. Like there was no debate. He was too. If he his arrogance led him to his fall. You are just as arrogant, if not more so than he is. I do not want that weakness to be exploited. I do not want you to be risked to be in that position. So I could see like a moment like that with Bell, but we have to wait and see on that front. We have to wait and see if Bell is gonna vote against Rand or not. But anyways, we have those three kind of ironclad votes, or there is like the most solid votes in that. Well, not I. Okay, two are very ironclad. Well, the third one is very likely to be go to Rand, if not. So while other ones are kind of debatable, but Varvera and Tank are very obvious votes for Kyoka. I'm assuming that Kyoka and Rand cannot vote for each other. But the other ones are debates, and some people said like the first chief might vote for not wanting to rock the boat too much. So they would rather that she doesn't vote against Rand. But I don't know. I feel like between what Ryu says in this chapter and the respect that the first chief has, I kind of feel like she would still want to vote for Kyoka. Kyoka, which would make 3-3. But then like the other ones are like, where does their high view of power rank between each other? And then we also have like Azu, who's pretty much everyone agrees that Azu can vote for anyone and will not be much of a shock. Like she could basically like it's a flip of a coin, honestly, with her. But anyways, we need to make it more feel like there's a more of an look like Joker's an underdog in this situation. So we need to talk about it like it's a guaranteed victory for Ryan, even though logistically speaking it really shouldn't be. So anyways, we then cut to Rand talking with the two political characters there. I don't know if I should really remember those two's names because like the two are like the two of them are like, are they even gonna appear after this? It's kind of like Fuku. It's kind of like the Azuma family is branch members. Like outside of that speedster eye patch wearing girl, the other three don't really matter. So yeah, so how much these two truly matter at the end of the day. But anyways, they kind of talk with her and they say about their chances of winning, and they ask, "Oh, so anyone outside of you is gonna try to be the next commander chief?" And Rand says, "Oh, Kyoko is very likely contender." And they're like, "Oh yeah, Kyoko has got a lot of good record now. She could very likely be a good pick, but that's against anyone except you." So yeah, they don't really like. I don't know if these two think it's because of like, oh, you're so overpowered. They're obviously you're gonna get all the votes, or to the fact that Rand from the very beginning has 2 votes guaranteed. So so yeah, Rand is very confident, and Rand tells to herself, "Yeah, as I thought, this batch of chiefs has no way of surpassing me. I will be the commander chief for ever and ever and ever." Huh. Which I kind of wonder what kind of reaction would Rand have if she met someone whose speech ability was also a god base. Like if someone, like let's say there was if there was like a member, like let's say one of the next chiefs is gonna have an ability where they're gonna be like Greek gods, and they'll be able to like not only, and they're gonna have like 12 powers that will all give them control of everything. Like he's gonna have Zeus that will give him control of storms and wind, Poseidon control of water, and he'd be like also as over the top in demonstrating this power as Ran is. Like what kind of reaction would she have? I mean, I know she'll probably still think she's stronger than that person, but would she consider that person as a threat? Because, like, again, like, gods have shown they can outmaneuver Ran. I mean, in their encounter with Shinoku and Jurune, she's seen that they can. Like, Juno destroyed her canceling ability. Shinoku made a copy of her, and Ran didn't even realize. Regardless of her thinking she can beat them, they can clearly outmaneuver her in instances. So it's kind of a weird thing about how much must you do against Rand to a point where she would consider you an equal? Or at least something that is a threat to you. But yeah, anyways, as we have Rand being extremely confident here, we didn't have the veteran members, the old generation of Major Defense Force be like, that Rand still being as arrogant, oh my god, how I hated the fact that I lost to her. As Rio tells her, but to bear her, the reason why you lost was because you were so against the politics of this maneuver. You were just focused on making the military power of MDF the strongest possible, leaving you weak from the political point of view and being easily won over. Which, to be honest, that she did lose the captaincy to Ryan. It was like a thing like where she went into retirement and just they had to be election because no, she literally did lose to Ren. So yeah. And I imagine, so, this does again kind of raise the question, like, I can't imagine that Tobera might have lost because one rank got 2 votes automatically. Bell was already a member during that time period, so Rand probably got that extra vote from Bell. I imagine she very quickly made Bell her submissive puppy. Assuming that Mira liked, I think Mira was there as well, so assuming that, wait, was Mira there? I know Varvara wasn't there, but I think there's a few others who weren't there, but I think Mia was. Okay, I'm not saying about Mia, but I know Fubuki and Tanka and Ezu were there, so Ezu would be vote forever. So yeah, we have 3 votes automatically. Azu would vote for who? Azu would probably vote for whoever regardless, so she'll probably go for the hot Ran. Um, we actually do find out that Rio voted for Tobera as she's even reminding her, oh, by the way, Tobera, I voted for you in the last election. It's like, yeah, I still remember and appreciate it. I imagine that Fubuki would probably vote for her mother, so that's 4 against 2. Kyoka, I don't really get the vibe that she would vote for either one of the two, but maybe she would kind of compare to Bear too much to the previous chief, so captain, so maybe she would vote for and all that. To Bear, I don't think it would be that difficult to get out of, but it's Kyoka the one I'm kind of confused by. But yeah, anyways, then we have Rio kind of explain the election again. Alright, this is going to take a 5-day process. Today it's just going to be the basic stuff that we'll be talking about. Tomorrow you're going to have to be registering to vote, which there's only like 11 people that are even allowed to vote. I guess maybe like that's another reason why Ren might have won, because like no one else that voted that, so it was like a very, so there were 3 guaranteed votes, because Ryan would be like, Bell, I want to win the election. So you would be registering to vote so I can win. I know you're new, but you're doing this. I tell you so do it. So maybe there was like that thing, like only like 5 votes or something. I imagine Azure would be the type of person that would probably forget to register if she wasn't told by someone. So regardless, the register, you'll also be applying to be candidates on the next day. So like Ren and Kyoka are gonna be the 2 official candidates. It's on the second day, or at least after. I think it was on the second day. Yeah, I think they become the candidates on the second day. So yeah. Anyways, now they're just gonna be generally talking. As then, all right, Kyoka starts the conversation immediately. As Valve's like, "Oh, Kyoka is so determined. Things are getting serious." So Kyoka brings up, they want to talk about the discussion about the armor agency, as Stanka opens a portal and brings in Naon and Coco. In case you forgot, those are the 2 girls that are best friends, or like the 3 strongest hybrids that we got from Yuki, with the 2 of the of the 3 strongest hybrids that we got during the beginning of the story, and the one that were used to comprised of Kusatsu, which makes me kind of wonder what she thinks of now in their Yuki's dream world. And honestly, I'm kind of curious. I really want to know what kind of reaction Kusatsu, Fukuma, and Ryan are going to have on all this stuff, because like, for what we know, Armor Agency and gods don't really seem to have a connection or anything. So it would be kind of interesting. I would kind of like to see if Yuki next time he got. I mean, aside from the fan service, what kind of reaction Yuki would have with Kusatsu if he asked them about anything. But regardless, we have Naon and Kokude as they state about these 2 were entrapped. Yes, human human sugar hybrids exist, and these 2 were imprisoned in Onmo Agency, and Onmo Agency performs experiments on them to attempt to turn them back into humans. But really, so yeah, they're in a bit of a so yeah, they're kind of point this out, and the 2 politicians are kind of panicking. Oh my god, oh my god, we're in danger! Oh! As Tobera calms the 2 down, be like, "This is the safest place in the world. We can bring, even a god could be brought here, and it would be safer." Because like, when you actually think about it, they pretty much handicap the entire MDF, because like literally all of the because most squads, I would say, are kind of heavily built on top of their chiefs. So while it's true they are insanely safe here, they also like have very few other ones out there left. So it's kind of about maximizing security here. So those 2 will come down, and Ren is actually furious at this, because she's like, Tanka, you would dare to show your blade to me. So I guess Ren is, I don't know. I don't think. So I guess Ren is a bit like, oh shit. Like Ren kind of knew about this, or at the bare minimum, she realizes, oh shit. If okay, I previously thought was unconcerned after all. Kyoka's speeches about wiping off of wiping out all Shoka is essentially just useless blabbering. But Tank on the other hand, talking here and actually teaming up against me with Kyoka is actually a bit of a concern because like Kyoka is a good leader and all, but it's like you really wouldn't be able to kind of hold this position. It's kind of like a similar thing with Asta. Yeah, you can trust Asta. You can put your trust into us. You can trust him. You'll be accomplish anything. Like what he said off, he'll do. It's good in a short period of time. Yeah, he can function as a captain of a squad, but political figure that the military and the political kind of balance the two have is kind of like a bit questionable. So it's kind of similar thing with Kyoka. Like, yeah, you can be a good leader on a military perspective, but can you lead the organization on a political perspective or any other perspective? So, and setting up the goals. So yeah, Kyoka is a bit of an issue here. So Kyoka had like a little bit of a off pull. Like you kind of decide not to really go with her. Like, yeah, we can kind of agree with you, but it's kind of like, here you go again. But Tenka being also kind of, Tenka being Kyoka's, reasonable side is gonna win them over, as well as this like revelation about Unmo Agency's experiments, and also the woman from the Unmo Agency does have like a bit of a like I think she raises one of her eyes over, like it kind of recognizes. I think she just says like you, as Snow looks at her and is like, oh, you. Because we the first time we saw this all back was with Nolan's backstory, so they know with one another. So there is gonna be a bit of a issue here. So that and Rio states this is the first time she's hearing about all this, but she's kind of questioning if this was a really the right smart idea, Kyoka, because if they cannot prove what they're claiming here, then it's gonna be a baseless accusation, and they're going to she's gonna lose her chances. And yeah, as now Kyoka declares they're going to be talking about their crimes, which means that which I don't know if the politicians are really gonna care. I mean, Ran already seems to be kind of iffy on the knowing fact, but it's more like get the rest of the captains convinced, like get Kokoro to definitely vote for Kyoka, making it definitely 3 against 3. Maybe getting Bell to go against Kyoka, though to be fair, against in that situation, I feel like Kyoka would have to point out to Bell that what politicians want has had a history of backfires. To bear sad, like to bear sad when she was talking about Rio that whenever the politics want to interfere with the mid defense force, they always end up backfiring. So they probably should go with that angle against Bell. For Buki, I feel like people point out that she would probably vote for him out of obligation of strength, but I don't know. I don't think Furuka is that heartless to the point that she would just take a blind eye to Onmo Agency. The same goes for Mira. I don't think she would be that blind, even if though she does get along with Ren well, but whatever. They are right now taking a big risk here, and we have to see how it turns out. I do have to wonder where Nao and Koka are gonna be, because like the whole thing is like this was set up so they could be like a big meeting, but where they're gonna go after? Is Kurotaka going to send them back home? I don't really know, but regardless, we're gonna have to find out later. Exactly, and in the next couple of chapters. But anyways, after Chain Soldier, we have Versus, chapter 19, titled Demon King versus Part 1, which means that the Demon King is kind of going for a boss card at this point, which is Yachi, so yeah. Anyways, we start this chapter off with the Giants kind of, well, basically attacking Yachi, but Yachi just casually able to flung them away, being like, you guys are pretty weak, huh? So, as then Goyo, who was mentioned in the last chapter, appeared like, what the hell is this? I'll handle this guy. As Yachi's like, oh, the boss guy is here, good. This was gonna go along quicker. As then Yachi says, alright, let's get this game out. 10 seconds. I'll let you do everything you want on me. Hit me with everything you got. It's like, I will not fight back at all. As then Goro gets pissed off, he's like, ah! As he starts slamming him with his club. And then after like 9 seconds, he was like, this guy was weak, this was boring. As he leaves, as Yachi then, he's like, alright, 10 seconds, time's up. As Goro turns around, as Yachi's on him, just punches him into oblivion and sends Giant from that mountain all the way to where the fight between demons, aliens, mega kaiju, and humans was. As we see that area again before the giant Gori shows up, Scopes shows up as one of the mandarins named Uki. I don't know if he was his name was revealed beforehand, but regardless, Uki's there. So like they can nods and be like, I can't believe I was left here to take information off all of these stuff. I mean, these demons are so weak and perfect. So they're such trash. They're not even worthy of our time. Why am I even recording this information? I should be recording information about a mega kaiju creature. That thing was actually a challenge. As we have Gory's corpse living there, as Uki's are really like, what's this, a corpse? What the heck's going on here? As well, it's a useless piece of trash. So yeah, now some people said that Gory may not be dead. That he's gonna use his transformation sequence that giants have. You know, the one that makes them bigger and strong and all that. And that might be how he's gonna come back into play. But I kind of question it because, like, you know, it'd be one thing if Goy at least like put up somewhat of a fight, but the way Yachi feels like it was like his base form wasn't even doing anything against him. So it's kind of a weird thing how his power form would go against an even stronger Yachi and Mandarin. But these areas, so whatever. But anyways, as Uki's kind of react to a corpse, he sees Yachi arriving here as he's like, oh, so you're the one who has been causing all this trouble and all that. And Uki doesn't review Yachi. In fact, like he's like, oh, another useless demon another piece of trash to take care of. As then like, oh, all of the other demons were slaughtered. And you're just like, oh, so you're the one who took out my subordinates. As we get a confirmation that Kevin is that. Well, not a complete confirmation, but a pretty solid confirmation as we have like, we didn't have the back of Kevin's head. So yeah, after his attempt to fight Mandrits for one last time, he got decapitated and that. I mean, assuming there's not like some kind of BS thing shows up that gives him enough mana to revive, but I feel like it's pretty safe to say that he is that. Like, so far he's only regenerated from like losing his limbs and from having his body like, mangled, but not really fully like destroyed. So yeah, anyways, we didn't have. So yeah, then we have Uki saying that he doesn't have a way, he doesn't really know how to control his power, so he's definitely going to just wipe out Yachi in this fight, which is, basically the two very arrogant characters talking to one another, so they both like look at one another very downwards. Although Yachi has like less of a reason to look him downward, but to be fair, when we find out in the next chapter, like the gap between Yachi and the rest of the Devil Army is like freakishly huge. But anyways, Yachi and Uka start fighting and they clash and, well, they definitely has a little bit of a, like, fight back. Yachi is not being overwhelmed by Uki at all. He's just, like, taking every hit. He's, like, punching back against him. And Uki even, like, sends attacks on him and Yachi's like, these attacks you're setting up, they feel like they should have magic in them, but there is no magic in them. Interesting. Show me more. As it's very clear to Uki that Yachi is not taking himself seriously. This gap in power between Uki and the rest of the demons is so big that it's freakish. And anyways, they have a few more blows and Yachi actually starts destroying or damaging Uki's compact surveillance body. As then Uki's like, this body is actually getting damaged, so he then goes into his compact surveillance body space plate Shinra, which is supposed to not be used because of the fact that in its state that it is in, it actually destroys the environment around it. I'm not sure that it's slowly starts to destroy everything, or if it's meant to just like, it makes it so every other data we receive is gonna be corrupted by it. but regardless, he can in his form he's a lot stronger as he starts using gravity and space distortion abilities as he's like using like creating something that resembles a black hole to bring Yachi to him and slam him down. Then gravity distortion like flung him around all or space distortion to like flung him all over the place and everything. Then sends the gravity distortion at him to like slam him into his belly to send him to the floor and then uses space monsters that he creates from like a little disc from space. They kind of look like Mercury type creatures as he sends them against Yachi to eat him. But Uki, after that, he thinks that Yachi's dying. He's like, oh my god, so this is those demon kings. That this guy must have been a demon king. These guys are actually powerful. So not all demons are as powerful as the ones we destroyed. So Uki's like, I should probably inform them that they also need to be cautious about demon kings. So yeah, I do have to wonder if Uki's gonna escape this or if he's gonna like send out a message like final recording or something to all the managers be like, caution! The kings in a demon army are actually as powerful or the very are strong in our base forms, although what we find out in this chapter at the end saying they are more powerful than mandarins, it's not that crazy because Yachi just gets out of that and be like, ah, so this is your power. Yeah, I see you are very powerful indeed. So I'll take this fight seriously now on as he like removes his cape. As we get kind of like a Dragon Ball Z reference with this. As he's like, wait a minute, your power level is increasing. Hold on, has that cape been decreasing you by, I think it's meant like 40%. I think that cape has been like eating away 40% of Yachi's power level mana. So Uki realizes, and he even like starts to get like the cracks, or not cracks, like he starts to get veins popping, and he realizes, hold on, this fight, the fight in my base form, the fact I need to go into this full form, has actually been you just toying with me? Which is the reason why I don't think Guri is going to power up, because like, what's he gonna do against like a Madran's fully powered form and full power Yachi? Assuming Yachi doesn't have a transformation, which consider the fact this is the first chapter, what could be multi-chapter of Yachi fighting against probably a bunch of enemies, considering the fact they don't even mention who he is fighting. I mean, it's not like they mentioned Yachi versus alien giants or Yachi versus alien mandarins. He just has Demon King versus. I'm assuming someone else is going to participate in this fight as well. Maybe God, maybe some other natural enemy. We have to wait and see. But maybe the Neo humans are going to participate as well. And I might make a. Wait, so these Neo humans that they call themselves are also able to fight against us? In these satellite forms? I don't really know how this is going to unfold, but basically, Yachi's like, bring it on, as Uki's like, very pissed off at this point as Yachi's prepared to fight him at his like strongest. So yeah, Yachi's badass. That's what the point of this chapter is. Anyways, after verses, we need to go back to some slice of life series with Miracle-chan, chapter 59. No title because Miracle-chan is allergic to titles. So yeah, anyways, we start this chapter off with Hana being in the lobster festival, saying, "Oh, look at those stones!" And she immediately goes running towards to eat more food. Which sometimes like, "Well, you have feast before lobster festival, now you're still eating so much." As then Yuria kind of starts getting a bit insecure because like Yuria has like this concept that Hana is this like exorcist, so she uses her like positive aura that she regains and loses from consuming as an example of power. As it was like thinking to probably thinking to herself like, if I eat so much as Hana does that mean I'll be able to just my presence be able to erase spirits as well? As Miku tells her that if she wanted to eat so much like Yuria, she'll probably need a personal trainer for that. Because Hana is not normal. As then we have Michiro looking into one of the stalls and she's like, oh look! These rabbit hats are put on stakes! As they point out, oh, those are just candy apples that look like the rabbit mascot. So weird. So yeah, Michiro is trying to get along with everyone, trying to act normal, but it's kind of still, it's Michiro, it's kind of hard to really tell what the normal is. So yeah, anyways, then we have um, Yuri kind of looking at some stuff, thinking like, Actually, Miko spots a child that first she thinks, wait, is that a child? But then she looks at the feet and she notices the child's feet are without any shoes, and there's also destroyed clearly destroyed clothing. So she's like, yeah, that's definitely not a child. That's definitely some spirit. So she's like, oh, Material, let's go over there for whatever reason. I guess she doesn't even want to be around about risking her getting confused because that can happen with Nico. Like if she's around too many spirits at once for too long, she might confuse and start acting weird. So, anyways, Miko then go they go away a bit as Michiru as you is like, oh, I should probably buy this to Hana. I'm sure she would be happy. As then the person who signed them is points out, hey, you only got those, right? As Yura looks at her, then she gets flashback to her childhood where all the kids that bullied her and called her weird and gross because Yura did not have the sense to keep her ability secret, or more likely her ability was just kept at like very vague level, so she wasn't aware of the danger. Like she didn't see like when she saw ghosts, she didn't see like giant monsters. She just saw like shadowy beings kind of in the corners and in places. So yeah, so a lot of classmates just kind of saw like an attention seeker and calling her weird, and this one specifically called her gross. And she's like, "Oh, how's Benny, girl? We've been friends since grade school and all that." And then Yura doesn't respond to her, and she's like, "Wait, you do remember who I am, right?" Because like it's like one of those things where you remember the person, but you yourself do not remember the person. You're like, who are you again? Do I know you? But Yuria does remember her. She just doesn't want to talk to her. As uh, Yuria just says, yes, I do remember you. Yes, I am the other Yuria. You're not mistaken. She just doesn't kind of want to talk much about it. As you next goes, calm down a bit. Actually, I think his name is Mikuma. Calms down a bit. As Yuria looks at her leg, she's like, she knows that it's damaged, like, and just sees there's a spirit on it. And she's like, your leg. As Mikuma's like, oh yeah, I hurt my leg a bit, man, hurt my leg, says, I have a hard time there walking, but it's fine. As then Mikuma points out, oh wait, you said you saw spirits, right? Do you still see them? As Yuria kind of, she's trying to learn from a mistake from grade school, like, she has to pretend like she doesn't see it, but like, no, I don't see them, of course not. I've just been pretending, seeking attention. In the most, like, obvious you're lying, or obvious you're just saying it for the sake of saying it, like, imaginable. Like, you're not very good at you're very kind of expressive, won't fix it, so she's just saying it, but anyway, she's then like, oh, look, my friends are needing me, so I'll have to go now, bye. And she just kind of leaves Mukoma, and Mikoma has to go, like, back to work. Anyways, then, as then they all meet up together with Hana, and they go to this like main stage with the Lambda Rabbit as main announcement starts. It's like, anyways, with this festival going on, and this rabbit for some reason talks like a like a teacher, like a high school principal or something. I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be revealed. It's like a character we've seen. Like maybe it's Zeta Sensei or something. As it has like that classic speech, and the characters are kind of reacting towards it. As then Miko looks a bit behind Yuria because she's behind them, see what she's thinking about all this. As then Yuria is gone, as then Miko's like, where's Yuria? As then we see that Yuria went somewhere else, and she's kind of been very depressed because like her abilities are not progressing. Everything she tries, it's basically useless. She met and now she met someone that someone that she it told her that she's just attention seeking, and now and which she technically was. She doesn't admit that she just wanted people to recognize her abilities and skills and all that. And now she's pretty much just admitting that she's just kind of posing like, yeah, she sees something, but she's not compared to Miko. She's not compared to Hana because her interpretation is they are like professional accents who are like professionals, but she's just kind of in that group. I also imagine there's some insecurities about her in the group because, like, like she doesn't really hang out with them as much. Like Michiru has only been in the story for like I want to say a couple of or then I think she was with them for like 2, 3 volumes, battling the story really, and she feels more like that she's more in a group with them than Yuria is, despite her being in the group since volume 3. But yeah, anyways, she's feeling a bit depressed, and she's not even responding uh, to the text that they are sending. So they're kind of panicking at this point. Like, did she get kidnapped? I mean, it would be very difficult because how small Yuria is. But anyways, then Mikoma sees Yuria, and she meets up with her. She's like, Yuria, are you fine? Because you're clearly crying. Because because Yuria was so to point of tears that she was about, well, she was sad to a point of tears, and Yuria kind of says, "No, I'm fine." She kind of wants to leave, and she kind of runs away, but Mikoma runs after her. As Yuria says, "I'm not would you stop running?" As Yuria's like, "I'm not running." But you're clearly running. Also, that where you're going leads to that end. As she reaches to the top of the staircase, I guess that place is more like a couple's viewing scenery. As Yuria is up there is like, oh yeah, I was kind of going aimlessly. So yeah. Anyways, Mikum, uh, Mikuma, Yuria then tells Mikumi about her leg during the whole scene. Well, actually, Mikoma is kind of like being like, well, if you're fine, I guess I could just go. But then Mikoma trips and she almost falls, but Yuria is able to catch her with the bracelet that has like those prayer beats, and she's able to stop her from falling and probably injuring her head a bit because she was falling from the stairs. But anyways, Mikoma thanks her and tells her that she's been getting hurt a lot lately. And then Yuria's like, wants to admit it, says to her, your leg is possessed. Your leg is cursed, basically. As if she just expects a normal reaction from Mikoma, but this time Mikoma is more like, oh my god, it's ghosted that it's cursed. I guess it's probably because I went to that shrine. As Yuria is a bit surprised by the reaction, because I guess she always viewed like Mikoma called her gross, but it seems like she was more calling the fact there's a spirit nearby that's gross. And Yuria's like, you believe me? And she kind of confused by this, and Mikoma tells her, well, I can't really see it. I don't really have the spiritual sense, and my friends don't believe it. But at the end of the day, the bigger part with you wasn't so much that you would tell us there was a spirit, but it was more your personality, but how pushy you were about that. How whenever something bad happened, you're like, a ghost was on that person, or a ghost was in the corner of the school. Like you were, you know, you were kind of setting the rest of us kind of off. You were kind of the weird kid out. Like we wouldn't mind you saying you could see spirits if you were not so pushy about it. So you were just kind of like, yeah, I guess I was kind of pushy. So like this is a bit more of a nuanced thing. I also imagine that the thing is about series like Miracle Chan, it's always like you always have to question how much things spirits can do without people getting at least a little bit suspicious. It's kind of like Miko's brother a couple of chapters ago, where his leg suddenly felt very frozen or very cold, like and that like weird creatures. But it's like the fact that sometimes the more powerful evil spirits will just attack you, and you do need some form of protection. I mean, we don't know what happens to you, but like the fact that those tentacles protect Michiru, the fact that you can pray to spirits and they will destroy some of these evil spirits, or these holy spirits, or holy shrine spirits, clearly says there is something bigger going on. So so there was definitely some level where people would be at least somewhat aware of it, and wouldn't be completely like, that's fiction, it's impossible. Right, guy? Oh, wait, you're in a. Right, Adam? Wait, no, Adam is currently in the hospital because apparently he got a burn face and then got, like, frozen, had, like, a frostbite over his body randomly when we were walking home last night. Whatever. So, yeah, I mean, there's some level of believability from people, but not much. But, anyways, then Yuria says, it may not do anything, but I could try to exercise this spirit. As then we cut to the gang who are looking for Yura because they have no idea where she is. Was she kidnapped or something? They don't know. Hana and Miku are running around with Hana noticing something, be like, oh wait, I'll call you back in a second. I need to do something quickly. And they also say that Michiru is like waiting at a giant tree. in the main plaza to like wait for Yuria, as they're like, wait, would Michiya be fine? But Mika says, oh, don't worry, she'll be fine. I mean, she'll stand no as all hell, but at least Yuria will know where she is, because Yuria's kind of like Michiya's kind of like a striking appearance, even without like the fancy dresses or anything like that. Like Michiya wears like a bunny mask, like a lambda no mask over her head, but she kind of so big that it's kind of you can't notice her a bit. So yeah, also she has a bit more fancy attire. As then we cut back to Yuria and Mikuma, as Yuria does some like some chants that I'm guessing she got from Rom. As Mikuma's like, oh, is that what modern accidental looks like? And Yuria's like, nope, it doesn't work. As then she pulls out one of the rum rocks that she has, as she puts one next to her. She's like, oh, maybe this will work better, because again, like Miko's just you're a real. If Miko had at least told Yuria about Michio, they might have been able to do something like maybe if Yuria was aware of Miko and Michio's thing, like she could be like, oh hey Mikuma, why don't you come hang out with us? It'll probably be boring if you just work there and then not enjoy the festival at all alone, or if you're just enjoying it alone, right? And besides, with four of us here, we can totally help you walk around a bit. Why don't you hang on to Miko if you ever feel very mature, if you ever feel very, very weak, or Han or something like that. But regardless, they don't do it. So Miko just help. So regardless, she does like that whole rock thing, and it does start to have an effect on this spirit, because like she remembers what Rom told her about the spirit. So when one of his sessions, he tells her, "All right, now if you have if you have a spirit nearby, the rock will start to shake. However, if the rock starts to crack or start to get broken, then that means it's actually a really high level spirit, and a really high level spirit isn't a spirit that an amateur should be handling with. So whatever you do, do not deal with them. As soon as you see cracks, you should run away, basically." As Yuria sees this, and she does start to feel that the rock is cracking. At least I'm assuming she spots it, but it's like, in that situation, what can she really do? She can't really like take it to one and be like, okay, this spirit is high level. That's what this my guy is saying, and so I can't really remove it. We need a professional. I guess I should contact. You should maybe contact Rom to help you with that. But regardless of that, that spirit that we actually do see the spirit, because Miko is hearing Yuria's voice up the hill as she goes up there, as she sees the spirit that's full there. Yuria only saw like a couple of hands there, but Miko sees that spirit normal, and it's like that. It's kind of similar to that like pedophile woman that we've seen a couple of chapters ago, but it's like smaller and multiple heads put together with a more crumbled up, with a more skinny body. As that thing is about to start attacking Yuria, but then the chapter and I think it's the same spirit that was in the last chapter to kind of hype this part of the story appears behind them and completely devours this spirit that's attached to Mikumo, and this guy is represented to Yuria and to Mikomo as like a giant gust of wind, which is again like one of those examples. Like, wouldn't it be kind of weird if giant gust of winds out of nowhere always showed up? I mean, at least there's something on the kill, so it's probably like easier to believe. But like randomly in a mall, there would be like a sudden burst of wind. That'd be kind of weird. Like, where the fuck did this wind come from? We're at the end of the store. So it's like one of those situations here. So I mean, to be fair, they're not these types of things don't I think happen in those places, but you kind of notice that if they did happen, and we kind of want an odd thing, which is why it's a little bit more believable. There's very few people to actually believe it, because it's actually someone to know. But if it was like a lot of people, that would be kind of a concerning thing. So yeah. Anyways, after this, the spirit ate this creature, as it then kind of left, as Mikoma is like, oh, that curse is gone. As Mikoma's like, oh, now that you mention, my leg does start to feel a bit better, because some of the pain also came from that thing, from that creature. As then Miko, Michiyo, Hana, Yuria, and Mikoma as well kind of reunite with everyone. Not certain why they're reunited there, but since Miko, Yuria would be together, maybe they would just escort back to some for something, or I don't know. It's probably just there for the sake of there. As then then Mikoma leaves the group, be like, yes, bye, Nigoda, as as like bye. As then Miko asks, oh, Hans, is that like a friend of yours? As you're just actually Hana's like squeezing Hana to us, Yuya to herself, since Yuya has been small. In the anime, they're definitely going to have her die by suffocation. Since I think in the anime itself, they had her like die by suffocation like 3 times. Like actually, no, I think the first time, no, I think she died by Miko. The second time she passed out was because Miko shoved her into her chest and died, and I think she also got squeezed to death by Hana. So I guess this time will also be another joke with Yuria dying by being squished to death by boobs. Yuria and boobs, the ultimate combo. The real reason why she's not with them constantly, or why I thought someone would be a part that would be idea, because Yuria would probably just die by boobs. But yeah, anyways, Yura just tells them that Mikoma is an acquaintance, which makes more sense than a friend, because like it seems to imply that outside of calling Yura gross, they two didn't even interact much with one another. So, anyways, uh, Yura, Hana then goes on to go back to celebrate, and Yura's kind of apologizing for everyone for making them worried because now Hana wasn't able to like get the special treats and all that. As Yuya kind of starts talking about Miko, because like the thing is, Yuya wants to talk about it very openly with Miko, but Miko wants to keep it hidden. Like Miko doesn't want to tell Yuya that like, oh, by the way, some of those hazier appearances. Yeah, those are some really dangerous ones, the ones that Rom calls high level ones, and those are freaky as all hell. So please don't get involved with them. And Yuri tells her that she should probably not try anything and do anything crazy because otherwise they'll be in trouble. As because like yeah, yes, stay out of trouble. As like whatever keeps you out of trouble. I don't care the fact that I don't understand exactly what you're talking about, but it's fine. Like I didn't do anything, but good thing that you at least learn your lesson. So I guess Miko's just gonna try to stay out of it. I guess maybe now she's gonna try not to do anything. Uh, anything crazy. I don't really know. It's hard to say where exactly the offer is going with Yuria, because like Yuria is like she's kind of is there, but she's also kind of not when it comes to a lot of stories. It's similar to Hana, but I feel like Hana is a little bit more involved in stories than Yuria is. But we'll have to wait and see where exactly the character's going for. I mean, in that like costume Halloween special so design that he gave for the capsule, he did have her be dressed up as a sheep or something. So who knows if how much symbolism that sheep costume is supposed to represent for Yuria. So yeah, anyways, then Yuri Hana goes a bit away from everyone as we find out that she what she was referring to was like going. She found a shrine, a forest shrine or park shrine, and she gave food and offering to that spirit. As we find out that spirit that ate this the spirit that was possessing Mikoma's lake, and the one that was kind of in the last chapter to set up for this Lambda festival was actually the spirit of this park. So after the offering that Hana gave to be for her friends to be safe and all that, and for to come back to them, the spirit was like, "All right, go attack Yuria until they're all reunited." And the spirit protected her as he went back to this. I guess symbolically ate the food that Hana gave him and and his head turned into a giant eldritch abomination of the rabbit. And he's like, power! As he seems to have gone back to the festival, it and then I guess everyone's gonna be enjoying the festival. Not certain this is gonna go anywhere in the next chapter. Not certain this is gonna be a bit more of this story. But regardless, everyone is kind of enjoying their festival time. And that's the end of this chapter and the end of this week's chapter's reactions. So yeah, there's a very good Miko chapter in the base. I'm happy that Yuri's finally getting some attention since she's been kind of background noise for this for a lot of time now. But that's it for now. Anyways, I hope you leave your thoughts on these chapters in the comments below and some other chapters that you But this week, I think Jujutsu Kaisen is having a very controversial chapter this week, so I guess leave your thoughts on the newest Jujutsu Kaisen chapter if you have any. But yeah, anyways, I hope don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to this video for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.